This is a Star Harbor Custom Sabers Revan the Crusader lightsaber, and this is a custom saber that's actually inspired by some cover art, so cover art for the book Star Wars The Old Republic Revan. And it's neat because this is sort of like a less common kind of Revan lightsaber design, or sort of an alternative Revan lightsaber design. Really neat with the claws around the emitter. That's definitely kind of one of the star features of the hilt. Now, if you look at those, they're kind of these spine-like claws, and they just kind of, they come over the top of the emitter just a little bit, but they don't get in the way too much. They've got this kind of triangular shape on the top, pretty smooth, not too sharp on the edges there. It's always nice to have that kind of visual of the edges, but without having actual edges that are too sharp. Now, toward the bottom of these claws, we have these little notches there that adds a nice touch as well. And then you'll see that there's some weathering on this hilt, so I like that. It's kind of this tarnished weathering. There's a little bit of weathering here, a little bit in the notches. Kind of adds this different kind of personality to the hilt, as weathering tends to. Now, in the kind of switch section, we've got this switch hole right here, and just kind of some black coloring, powder coating, and then these kind of rings right here that are kind of coming out of the hilt. There are some holes in the hilt too, so we've got the blade retention screw hole and the one for probably the LED module. And then at the bottom there's another retention screw, or this is probably, for a cover tech wheel. And so in the lower part of the hilt, it's kind of interesting. So we've got some of these black accents in the lower part of the hilt that kind of complements this switch section. But there's also some weathering, if we can kind of see that. So there's some of the weathering that is similar to the weathering in the emitter. And there's some weathering down here too. So there's both some of this kind of solid black coloring and then also some of these weathered sections. There's some there too. Then on the very bottom, we've got some sound vents. We can get that. Oh, here we go. This hilt also splits apart into two pieces, so it doesn't have a removable pommel actually, but it does split apart into two pieces that are almost about the same length. The bottom part's a bit longer. You can see it's threaded. And it is a pretty long hilt, you guys, so I've got the tape measure here. So it's like a little over 12 inches long, so it's like 12 and 5/8 actually, to be precise, from the very bottom of the hilt to the top. Then if we're including the claw in there, it's actually over 13 inches long, so it's about maybe 13 and a quarter, somewhere around that. But really nice hilt, and it takes a 1-inch diameter blade, so that part of it's pretty standard. And yeah, this switch hole is for a 16 millimeter activation switch. There's the top. I think we've just about seen everything. Anyway, just this kind of a neat, very niche lightsaber, and I believe this was part of a very kind of very small, like a micro run of hilts, but maybe like 10 or so. But I wouldn't be surprised if this gets kind of re-released again. But anyway, this is a Star Harbor Custom Sabers Revan the Crusader lightsaber hilt. It's a custom saber, and this seller makes additional empty hilts too. He kind of organizes them in different runs, so feel free to check him out. I did get this specific hilt secondhand though. So anyway, here it is. Feel free to comment below.